The movie is about retired hitman John Wick, whose wife just passed away. He was given a dog named Daisy as one last gift from his wife. Him and the dog are having a good normal life together until they go to a gas station. We got these cartoon ass villains asking what's the price for the car he got. John Wick says that it's not for sale, which pisses him off for some reason, but John Wick goes back home, falls asleep just to randomly be woken up by his dog. And when he goes downstairs, the people from earlier broke into his house, started jumping him, even smoked his own dog. Instead of killing him, they just knock him out, which will be the worst decision of their life. While John Wick is mourning the death of his dog, this Disney Channel bully ass villain goes to this guy to get the car's registration changed, but he knows exactly whose car that is. He says no. He gives him a right hook Muhammad Ali would be proud of. They leave and he made the right decision because John Wick shows up damn near the next scene. John asks if Yusuf was there and he says yes. We also find out that Yusuf is the son of Vigo, who is the guy that John Wick used to work for. John Wick asks for a car and then pulls off. Meanwhile, Vigo is talking on the phone with Aurelio, asking why he damn near punched the teeth out of his son. That's when he finds out that the car that his son stole was none other than John Wick's. And look at the face that he makes as he finds out. He knows his son's life is over. When his son shows up, he starts giving him straight gut punches, telling him that the person he stole from was not a regular person, but an assassin. And not just a regular assassin, but the literal Michael Jordan of hitmen. Yusuf tells his dad that he'll finish the job he started, but he's gonna learn how impossible that is. Vigo calls John Wick to try to plead for his son's life, but he gets hung up on because John Wick has already decided to come out of retirement. While John Wick is getting ready, we see about 5 armed men sneak into his house, but if you were 30 minutes earlier, you might have caught him slipping. Instead, everybody inside of the house ends up dying. Vigo is kind of panicking because of John Wick, telling his right-hand man to get as many men as possible and to get Yusuf to the red circle to lure John Wick. He puts a $2 million bounty on John Wick's head, as well as getting his former best friend Marcus in on the bounty too. Imagine losing your wife, dog, having your car stolen, house broken into, and getting a $2 million bounty put on you that your former best friend is in on in the span of like 2 weeks. John Wick might have one of the worst lives. John Wick heads to this place called the Continental, which is pretty much this hotel for assassins. He's here to visit a guy named Winston and asks him if he can arrange a meeting with Yusuf. Winston knows that the only meeting that they are gonna have is with Yusuf at the end of a bullet. He says no because it is technically against the rules to fight or kill on the hotel grounds. But after John Wick goes to get a drink, he's left with a napkin that says red circle, which was done by Winston and the bartender. While outside, he sees some of Vigo's goons heading inside. And while all this is happening, Yusuf is over here partying in a pool, not knowing that his life is in danger. The bodyguard waiting outside gets snuck up on by John Wick, but luckily, him and John were old friends, so he spares his life. We see the dudes that were there the day they broke into his house, and that's when John Wick gets some revenge. He kills one dude and then punches the other guy, strangling him until he tells John where Yusuf is. He then finishes him off by breaking his neck with his bare hands. John arrives in a bathhouse, getting his sights on Yusuf before an NPC sneaks up on him. They start fighting until NPC number 234 spears him. He knocks off 2 goons while looking Yusuf dead in his eyes, and as he aims the gun at him, someone pops right out of the water. Where did you even come from? He gets rid of him too, but what I don't understand is the fact that John Wick went 0 for 6 from the field on Yusuf. His bullets hit 100% of the time against any other person, but now that it's the guy he actually wants to kill, he wants to be ass. He might be a fraud. As Yusuf runs away, John Wick proceeds to wipe out every goon in the red circle until there is one more left, and the way that this man put hands on John Wick needs to be studied. Just look at the combos. He even stabs John with a piece of glass, lifts him on his shoulders, and gives him an attitude adjustment. John Wick tries shooting him, which is what you should have done in the first place, but misses as both him and Yusuf gets away. John Wick asks to see a doctor, and the doctor goes and stitches up the stab wound, as well as giving him some medicine. He gets back to the hotel, finally looking to get some sleep, but that's when we see Marcus on the roof with a sniper. He has it pointed right at John Wick's dome, but as that is happening, he sees a woman sneak in. He shoots right beside John's head, waking him up, and that's when John and the girl start fighting, and she's going toe to toe with John Wick, even hitting him on a stitched up stab wound, but he ends up slamming her and getting her to tell him that Vigo might be at a church before knocking her out. That's when he hears a voice right behind him. This voice turns out to be Harry, a friend or acquaintance, but he offers Harry some money if he looks after the knocked out woman, and Harry agrees. He heads to the church, and if he wasn't going to hell before, he definitely is now, as he shoots the priest and everyone in the church. He takes the pastor hostage and gets him to unlock the door. This church is actually a secret place where Vigo keeps his money, so John Wick decides to burn it all. And if that was me though, I would at least stuff $1,000 in my pocket. I need that. He goes back outside to see Vigo and his crew show up. Vigo saw that the church is burning up and is mad as hell just to get surprised by John Wick as he mows down each and every one of his goons. The guy that pieced up John at the red circle hops into a car, and while John is distracted, he runs into John, knocking him out. Meanwhile, Harry is looking after the woman. She's trying to offer him more money to get him on her side, but this is just a distraction for her to escape the handcuffs, attack him, and shoot him on the bed. Going back to John, his hands are tied up. Vigo is low-key talking shit, talking about it was just a dog, and that enrages John until they put a bag over his head and Vigo heads out. Right as it seems that this is the end for John, Marcus, with the greatest aim of all time, shoots one of the guards. This leads to the rematch with the guy at the red circle, and instead of getting his ass beat, he actually is able to choke him out this time. He cuts his hands free and runs outside to see Vigo in the getaway car, so he runs to the other side and catches them lacking, shooting the driver and forcing Vigo out of the car. He threatens to kill Vigo, so they strike a deal. John Wick won't kill Vigo as long as he gets rid of the bounty on his head, and Vigo tells John that Yusuf is at a safe house. At the safe house, Yusuf is looking a little more worried now as John takes out a guard and pretends to be one of their snipers. He starts taking off heads like a professional Call of Duty player, even taking out some of the guys inside of the house. There's only one guard left who leaves with Yusuf to some garage, but John Wick somehow explodes every car in there so that he can't get away. He pops the final guard and walks down Yusuf and shoots him, and as he walks and stares at him, he shoots him in the head, finally getting his revenge. A little later, John shows back up at the hotel and was gifted with a car due to what happened during his stay. He meets with Marcus to thank him for looking out and saving his life, but things take an unexpected turn because Marcus goes to some meeting when he is greeted by Vigo. Vigo knows that he helped John Wick, so with the help of the women that fought John, they kill Marcus. He calls John just to kind of taunt him and let him know what happened. John drives there to see Marcus dead, and while this is happening, Perkins sees John go into the house, but is called by the people from the Continental. She goes to meet with them to get surprised by Winston and his crew. Winston tells her that her membership has been permanently revoked, and they all shoot right on sight. Right after John gets a call from Winston telling him that Vigo might be getting on a helicopter at a helipad that I guess he would know. A couple minutes later, we see Vigo in the car, not knowing that John Wick is right behind him. John starts ramming into the cars and killing off the last of Vigo's goons until there's only his right-hand man left. His right-hand man shoots but misses and then laughs for some reason. That was stupid because John ends up shooting him and ramming the side of his car into him. This leaves John distracted enough for Vigo to run into him, nearly pushing John into the water. With both of them out of their cars and with no guns, they decide to go hand to hand. And to be honest, John was whooping his ass to the point that Vigo brings out a knife. John does a good job dodging, but as they struggle for the knife, John decides to let himself get stabbed so that he could break Vigo's arm and get the knife. And in one last move, he stabs Vigo. John leaves, finally able to enact his revenge. And the movie ends with him going into this building with a bunch of abandoned dogs, getting some medicine, and taking one of them home. If you like the video, subscribe and hit the like button, please. But it's your boy Savari. I'm out.